Here's the harsh truth. You can spend hours in the gym and still not get better. So if you've been training a ton but you're not seeing the results, it's probably not because of your effort. The real problem is how you're training and what you see when you're actually on the court. And right now I'm going to give you the exact steps to follow to make sure that these two things aren't holding you back anymore so that you see the best results you've ever seen in your training. Before we dive into it, check out my free 28-day Basketball IQ email course. Their feedback and the results the players have been getting so far has been incredible. A lot of things we'll talk about in this video, we also cover inside this course, and also way more stuff. So make sure you check that out. Top link in the description down below, completely free. So like I said, the two main reasons why you won't see results no matter how much you're training is number one, because you're not training at the edge of your ability. And number two is because of a lack of affordances in Basketball IQ. Now, affordances might sound like a really crazy word, but all that it stands for is the way that you see the game. We'll dive into this in a second. There's a quote that says, "You can't train in a peaceful world and expect to be successful in a wicked one." All that it means is that if you're preparing to go to war, which basketball is a war, then you can't train in a place where there is no war because you're not going to be prepared for it. Yet a lot of players are doing this, and it's why the hours that they put in don't help them at all when it comes to actual game results. I think of a lot of things that I look at when I see players training by themselves, and it's a lot of really simple stationary ball handling, shooting with absolutely no pressure, absolutely no challenge at all. Then they get into games and they struggle to be consistent or see the hours translate to more points per game, more assists, better ball handling against pressure. And it's because they're going into war, but they're training for something that's not even remotely close to that. Getting better at basketball is almost the same process as lifting weights and getting stronger. If you want to get stronger, maybe you start bench pressing and you can do 100 pounds for 5 reps. At the beginning, that's really, really challenging for you, but you do that for a couple weeks, a couple months, and now that weight isn't challenging anymore. That 100 pounds at 5 reps is pretty easy. If you don't increase your weight, eventually you stop getting stronger because your body stops adapting because it doesn't need to. Your body's not going to add additional muscle and waste energy and calories doing that if you don't force it to by increasing the weight or increasing the reps that you're doing. And it's the same thing we talk about getting better at a skill like basketball. Now, when I say this, this isn't about doing crazy drills, right, that you see on social media. It's not necessarily about doing that. It's about understanding where you're at and asking yourself, how do I challenge myself to force my brain to say, okay, we need to adapt and get better at ball handling, get better at shooting. We're struggling through this right now. Let's build skill. Let's spend the mental energy doing that. And that only happens if you force improvement. So the key to this is putting yourself in something that we call the Goldilocks zone. This is important to understand because what's challenging for a 5th grade player is very different than what's challenging for a college player. But the Goldilocks zone means that between 30 or 70% of the time in your workouts, you want to be struggling, you want to be failing, you want to be messing up. If you're doing a ball handling drill, a good rule of thumb is that if you want to actually improve your ball handling, you should be messing up about half of the time. You should be losing the ball a lot. And if you get to a point where you're not losing the ball at all, then it means that you're not pushing yourself, you're not forcing improvement, and you're not going to get any better. I think a big key when it comes to understanding how to apply this is that you need to judge your workouts based on the amount of time that you are in the Goldilocks zone, and not what most players do, which is judge their workouts based on how perfect they were. Did I barely lose the ball? Did I barely miss any shots? Did I look really good the whole time, as if it matters, as if there's a coach in the gym who's going to give you a full ride scholarship when you're in there by yourself, as if they're going to give you, the NBA MVP trophy for a ball handling workout that you did in June in a gym by yourself. Since those things aren't going to happen, the only thing that matters is, did you put yourself in a position to get better the entire time you were in there? So if you can be in that Goldilocks zone where your drills were challenging, you were messing up, and you struggled through it, that is the sign of a great workout that's pushing you towards getting better. Now, when it comes to actually doing this and applying this concept to your workouts, it can be pretty simple. For shooting, it can be as simple as shooting farther back. If you are making every single shot at the high school 3-point line, well, challenge yourself in your workouts to move back farther and now shoot from the college line, shoot from the NBA line, where you're going to start to miss more, but you're forcing your body to improve and adapt and add that skill. Another simple way of doing it is to just change the spot you're shooting at every single time. Because when you're in a game, obviously you're going to shoot at different spots. You might shoot on the wing on one possession, and then a couple possessions later you shoot from the corner, then you shoot from the top of the key, then you shoot from the baseline, whatever. Do the same thing in your workout so your body's not able to sit there and calibrate every single rep. Okay, well, I'm shooting from the wing every single time, so I shoot one time and I'm pretty much locked on the next 5 reps. If you have to go wing to top of key to baseline to elbow, well, now you're forcing your body to actually calibrate every single shot, and that makes it a little more difficult and a little more game-like. For ball handling or for finishing, add speed, so go faster in your drills, dribble the ball harder, make your moves a little bit faster. Maybe you start farther away on your finishes, or maybe you try a different move adding into your ball handling or into your finishing. Maybe you add different sorts of freestyles, different creativities where you challenge yourself to try new things, try things that are maybe uncomfortable for you. The point of all this is we want to add in constraints, or we want to add in different adjustments to our drills whenever you feel like they're getting stale, they're getting too easy. The goal of this is to keep your brain off of autopilot in workouts. If you are in your workouts and you're able to think about what you're going to eat for lunch that day, what your friend said to you last night that was really funny, what you're going to do when you get home and you can go play Xbox, if you're able to think about all those things as you're in your workouts, then that means your brain's on autopilot. Then you get to a game and you're overwhelmed with all the things that you have to know and think about and do, and you're not prepared because you haven't trained that way. So if you find yourself in that position, make things more difficult, add challenge to it, and that's how you drive improvement. Now, the second reason why your practice, your workouts aren't translating into you getting better is because of your affordances. Now, like I mentioned earlier, an affordance is super simple. All that it means is an opportunity for you to act, an opportunity for you to do something. So if I have more affordances than you, then it means I have more opportunities in games to actually go and do something. For example, if I'm not very skilled, I might be able to come off of a ball screen and only shoot a mid-range pull-up. Trae Young, on the other hand, is way more skilled than me in ball screens, so he can come off that and he sees that he can take the pull-up three, he sees he can get a floater, he can hit the roll, he can kick the ball out. He sees all these different opportunities that I don't see because I'm not skilled enough. Trae Young has more affordances than me in that situation, and that's what we want to increase if we want to actually see improvement in games. And so if you feel stuck, you're putting in all this work and you're not feeling that improvement, it's likely because your affordances haven't grown with your skill level. So you're still seeing the game like the old you did. It's crazy to think about this, but you and I could literally be in the same exact situation in a game, and I could see two options that you don't even see, simply because I know the game. I maybe have a certain skill level that allows me to execute a pass that maybe you've never thought about making because you don't have the ability to make it, or you've never seen anybody make it. But I just watched film of Jalen Brunson make this pass, so now I know that's an option for me. I therefore have another affordance that you might not have. So physical improvement and the workouts that you're doing, all that stuff matters. But if your affordances and the way you see the game doesn't keep up with that, then there's going to be a disconnect and you're going to struggle to actually see that work translate into in-game success. So how can you grow your affordances? How can you see the game better? We do this by improving our basketball IQ. Now, there's really three big steps to doing this. Number one is you want to learn the most high leverage concepts and implement them immediately. Now, we refer to these as high leverage concepts because they happen all the time in games. And so if you understand them, you're going to be able to see them and exploit them all the time, which is going to allow you to make a way bigger impact and apply your skills into games at a much more consistent level. Now, the first high leverage concept is referred to as 0.5 decisions. This just means that you have the ability to make a decision every time you catch the ball within half a second. Am I shooting, driving, or passing? And when you can do this, you exploit the defense at their most vulnerable, which is when they're closing out, when they're rotating. The second concept is the 95 rule, which means that 95% of the time, you're going to be playing without the ball in your hands. There's usually one or maybe two players in a game that are going to have the ball in their hands a lot, but everybody else on the court, for the most part, is going to be playing without the basketball. So how good are you at recognizing opportunities to cut, opportunities to use screens effectively so you can move without the ball and still make an impact? And then the third high leverage concept is recognizing, creating, and playing off of advantages. The game is based on advantages, momentum advantages, size and athleticism mismatches, numbers advantages. And if you can recognize, create, and play in these situations, you're going to be a really high level player. I go way more in depth into all three of these categories in my free 28-day basketball IQ email course. Top link down below. Definitely check that out. Step 2 is learning the game. This is so crucial, and it's a habit that you should try and build into your daily schedule of just spending 10 or 15 minutes every single day learning the game. Now, this can be really simple. You can get on YouTube and you can watch your favorite player or some player who plays similar to you or does something really, really well. You can go and watch a full game and try and pick apart the details that you see. You're looking for patterns. You're looking for things that you can use and apply into your own games. You need to treat basketball like your life's work. If you truly want to get ahead, you truly want to be great, then it can't just be about the workouts that you're doing. You have to develop your mind the same way you would develop your physical skills. And then step 3 is applying it on the court. Now, this is the most difficult of the steps, but it's the most crucial by far. And the reason for that is because of something called explicit learning versus implicit. Now, this is also very simple. Explicit learning is essentially what I'm doing right now. I am an outside source giving you information. That is you explicitly learning as I'm telling you something. Implicitly learning would be when you were a little kid and the stove was really hot and you put your hand on the stove and burned yourself. You implicitly learn through experience, oh, I shouldn't touch a stove when it's hot. That's the difference. Now, in basketball, there are ways to explicitly learn and implicitly learn. Explicitly learning would be your coach telling you, hey, do this. Hey, you messed that up. Implicitly learning would be you doing something, messing up, and seeing, okay, that didn't work, this might work instead, and then you go try it again and it works, and now you know implicitly what the right decision is. So you need to put yourself in a position to implicitly learn things as much as possible, and especially when it comes to implementing the things that you're trying to add to your game, go out and do those things as much as possible. Try and get yourself to 20 failures as quick as possible, meaning 20 times you try to do something and it doesn't work out for you, because you're going to get so much from that. So as a recap, the improvement formula is number 1, training at the edge of your ability as much as possible, plus improving your basketball IQ and growing your affordances. And if you master those 2 areas, you're going to get better not only quickly, but you're going to get better than everybody else around you at a super rapid rate, to the point where everyone's going to be looking around wondering how you're getting better so fast. And it's simply because you are working smarter than everybody else. Like I mentioned, make sure you check out that free 28-day basketball IQ emo course down below. We go into a ton of this stuff. It's super helpful. I've gotten great feedback so far. Top link in the description down below. Drop a comment if you got something out of this. Appreciate you for watching. Talk soon. Peace.